right, today we are going to look at area. So in your notebooks, today's date is the 5th, so we're going to write 9/5, and we're going to talk about area. Okay? So, when I say area, what do I mean? What is...
around your shape.
So I've got one definition is the area around. Braylon? The amount of units inside. Okay. So why don't I give you guys an example and you'll figure out, because we don't know if it's this one or this one, because those are different. Okay? So we're going to look right here. What shape is this? Which is it, a square or rectangle? What's the definition of a square? I'm going to tell you right now, these are all 90 degrees. Okay, so these are all 90 degrees, but what is not all the same? The side, so it has to be a rectangle. Because if they were all the same length, it would be a square. Good. Okay, if I said this was 4 and this was 10, and we're going to call, I don't know, we're going to make it up as centimeters. What would be the area of this shape? It would be 40. 40 what? Centimeters squared. If you guys need to move your seats up while we're doing notes, feel free. There's extra seats up here if you need to move. Don't feel bad about it. We all need to see. Okay. So, is area as you walk around? Or is area the stuff inside? The stuff inside. What is the area that you walk around? Perimeter. So it is something, and this is area. So we're confident now. I'm going to cross out these. Okay. What did we do? What do you think the formula is to find the area of a rectangle then? Length times width or length times height. We have length times width, length times height, base times height I've heard before. Okay, this is all of these things mean the same thing. This is area of a rectangle. So let's just move it slightly. It's so dark, isn't it? It's so dark. We're going to try turning off the lights again. See if this makes a difference, because I can't seem to make it any better. Let's wait till it adjusts. Is it better, worse, same?
Is there a light on the...
No. There is, but it's not. Better? Okay. All right. This is what kind of shape right here? That's a square. What's the area of this square? Let's call it 3 inches. So what would the area of the square be? 9 inches squared. Don't forget that little squared, because otherwise I think it's 9 inches in a straight line. Right? If you told somebody you needed 200 feet of carpet, they're going to give you a long strip of carpet that's 200 feet long. 200 feet squared makes it fill up the whole floor. Okay, so do you think we can use the same formula for a square? Yeah. We did the same thing, right? Length times width, or base times height, or a combination of it for a square. All right, now I'm going to throw you another one. Ready? How am I going to find the area of a triangle? Why divide by 2? Right. So if we've got, so here's a square, right? Here's a square. I fold it in half. It's a triangle, right? So that's why it's base times height times 1/2, or base times height divided by 2. So let's call these, we'll call them meters. So what is the area of this triangle? Right, because 2 times 3 is 6. Divided by 2 is 3. Okay. Ooh, let's try a couple more. I'm going to move this up. All right. What shape is this? It is a parallelogram. Why isn't it a rhombus? Anybody know the difference between a parallelogram and a rhombus?
No,
We'll learn in this unit. A rhombus it's like a square tilted on its side. All 4 sides are equal. Okay? All right. So you're going to ignore this length on the outside for a parallelogram. I want to know the height. That's why we like base times height a lot of times. Because the base is 7 times the height is 3. We're going to get 21 meters squared. So if there's a number out here, if I said like this is 4 meters, you ignore that. You're looking at the height. I don't care about that slanted part. That doesn't help me. Okay. I'm going to turn my paper over. So this is going to go away. So I'm going to give a minute. Make sure people got this. Not an actual minute, because that's too long and I can't wait. All right. So here's another shape. I want you to raise your hand if you know what this shape is.
that's a trapezoid.
I want you to raise your hand if you know what this shape is. Yes, Zach.
That's a trapezoid.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a trapezoid. If I told you this height was 2, this was 3, this was 8, this was 5, and we'll say they're all centimeters. I'm just making up units at this point. How am I going to find the area of this? I know you know. Okay, so we do a whole thing. We could, let me use another color. We could cut this off right here, right, on both sides. We know this is 5, right? If this is 3 up here, 8 minus 3 is 5. So this would have to be 3. These would have to be the same on each side, which is 2.5, right? Okay, so I took my trapezoid, right? And I cut it here and here. Okay? If this is 3 on the top, it's got to be 3 on the bottom. So far, so good? Okay? So if this whole thing adds up to 8, 8 minus 3 is 5. So this part and this part have to add up to 5, but it has to be the same on both sides. So then I go 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, right? So that's how I got the 2.5s there. And then I could use Pythagorean theorem to find this height. Oh, well, I know this is 2 right here, right? And this is real complicated, right? Okay, so I can just give you a formula now. All right, this is a trapezoid. And the area is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. Okay, so we're going to go 1. Does it matter which one's base 1 and which one's base 2? Remember, this whole thing is 8. No. So we can say 3 plus 8 or 8 plus 3. And we're going to times it by 5. Okay? So 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 divided by 2. This is a lot of work. That's why I gave you a calculator, right? So if I go 3 plus 8 divided by 2 times 5, I get 27.5. hold on, relax, relax. Give it a second. There it goes. Oh, there we are. Okay, so I get 27.5 centimeters squared. Okay? Yes?
Does that say base plus?
Base 1 plus base 2 times height. And I'm going to tell you, these formulas are going to be at the top of your homework. So, if you missed something. Last one. We've got a circle. I'm going to say its radius is 2 centimeters. So the area for a circle is pi r squared. So you're just going to go pi times 2 squared. Now, if you don't have a calculator, we can use 3.14 for it. But, you know, a lot of your guys, if you turn your phones, you can actually see a pi button. There's a pi button on your calculator that I would rather you use. So I'm going to go 2 squared times pi, and I get 12.57. I'm going to round to 2 decimal places, centimeters squared. The pi button is on where all the letters are on the bottom. It's on the left-hand side, second button from the bottom. Okay, last thing I'm not gonna do any of these, but I'm gonna mention that you're gonna have these. You're gonna have challenge ones where you've got like, here's a trapezoid with a rectangle at the bottom, and you're gonna have to figure out the area. You just figure out both of them and add them together, right? Okay, you might have a circle with 2 triangles off the side and a rectangle at the bottom. You just find each one and add them together. Okay? All right. We are now going to do this. You are going to do this 7 square activity. Okay? You are going to, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Shh. It's still recording, guys. All right. 7 squares are set inside each other. The center point of each side of the outer squares, that center point, like right there, are joined to make a smaller square inside it, and so on. This center square, this whole thing, has an area of 1 square unit. Okay? What is the total area of these outside triangles and bowls? These. Okay? This is what you're figuring out at your table, in your table group. Then there's some questions about how you worked with a group afterwards. We're going to work on this for the rest of the hour. Okay? While you're doing it, I am going to come and walk around and check your identity one.